like I said, I go back to the same thing. He came to me. He'll always come to me with all the names. Every coach has to be cleared above me. So it's not a matter of someone above me wondering what the X's and O's are going to be, but just clearance-wise. So those discussions, I'm very interested in the coaches, probably maybe more than other ADs from the football part of it or the coaching part of it, because I was a coach and that's my career. So I was involved, but that's, like I said earlier, Dana, that's his decision. He asked me questions about him. I asked him questions about Jeff, and he was the guy. And I feel really good about Kalani's choice.
And
Is
Jeff's
this
not a
staff
member of the
compensation?
LDS, correct?
Correct.
I'm curious about, has the policy always been the head coach must, but the assistant, no matter what position it is, doesn't have to be, correct?
That's correct.
As far as the September schedules, it's obvious independent, you have to play them. Is there a feeling that they're just maybe too difficult, that you've put your coach kind of behind the 8 ball right off the bat with the Power 5 lineup?
I mean, it's one of the difficulties of independence is those are when you can get the best games. So it's a matter of either getting those games or getting games where people aren't going to really feel like it's a good schedule. And our team needs to play a good schedule. So you might say, well, you could find a team that would be perfect. In a perfect world, you could. I would say that sometimes you look at the beginning of the season, and I might put in a P5 team that's a really powerful team for 2024, and I put that one in. It feels good, it sounds good, and then in a year later, you have an opportunity to get another one, and you take it, and then you start looking for complementary teams, and you can't get them. So you might say, what about Team B? Well, we've tried Team B, and Team B is not going to play us. So it's either A, B, or C. And if you have, it's harder to get the Bs than it is the As. You can get the Cs whenever you want. But it's harder to get the Bs than it is to get the As, actually. And sometimes those teams are hard, they're hard to come by. They don't really want to come, and they don't want to come here. So generally we step it up a little bit. And sometimes I have a decision to make maybe for the last game, and I realize that that's going to tilt the balance, or tilt the scales a little in the favor of a difficult schedule.
Could there ever come a time where you would basically bail on independence? This is the old part.
This
Will
is
you ever join a
you
conference?
can ask me that question 1,000 times, and the answer is going to be, if that day comes, you're going to know it. I'll make the announcement, but there's no. Right now, it's the same answer that I've always said. We're not looking right now to get into another league.
Do you feel like the impediments are and barriers are more socially being shared as far as like social issues?
I don't think so, Ben. I don't think so. I mean, those came up and when we were talking in the last time around, but I think we had some, and I've mentioned this before, we've had some great discussions with conferences, and it really comes down to what they want to do. It's their party. They can do whatever they want, and we just got to be in a position to where it's right. It's the right time. It's the right time for them. It's the right idea for them, the right strategy for them, because we all know what we want. But that's the difficult part, is making sure that somebody out there has the same ideas that we do.
Would you consider a non-P5?
I mean, that would be this. That's what I'm saying. That comes down to it. If you're going to bail on independence, as the quote is, then we would.
That's his quote.
Then you got the quote, footnote. Then that just means you're going to go to another league, whether it's a P5 or G5. That would come when it comes.
How much of an advocate are you of an 18th playoff? Obviously, that would help a tremendous
You know,
view on the season.
it's interesting. Being on, I was on a BCS advisory committee, athletic advisory committee for a while, so I was there at the beginning of the BCS. I didn't have a ton of input. It was a one or 2 day meeting, but I saw kind of the beginnings of that, and that's when it was, the playoff, the two teams, And they were staunch about being 2 teams. When I say they, those are the P5 schools plus Notre Dame. And so I saw that, and they don't want to expand that. And when it went to 4 games, I was a little bit surprised because they were so much against it. And, the 4 games, it seems that everybody's accepted that 4 is better than 2. And so I don't think it's out of the realm now that at some point it could go to 8. There are some difficulties in the logistics of how that works, and some things that really wouldn't matter to the fans, but it does matter to the administrators or the people that put on the game, whether it would be the CFP or the athletic directors. You're talking about having to you would change a lot how college football is. You'd have to probably drop games, regular season games, just to allow for those extra game, an extra game. And so I'd be in favor of it, but I'm not standing on my head for it. I think it'll come when it's time to come.
Who are the true